feeling mellow, mellow, sunflower yellow, yellow. Your baby mama texted me the other day like hello. She said her man's been cheating on her like a nasty.
Hey folks, Cam from Australia Kava Shop. Look, on a recent trip to Port Vila Refate in Vanuatu, we had the opportunity to go and visit one of our main suppliers, Mount Kava. Now look, we had a heap of fun making it. I'm sure you guys will enjoy watching it. We cover a heap of topics, best practices for importing and exporting kava, how to deal with kava planting and processing in climate change with cyclones and El Nino and that sort of thing. And we got to have a look around this like just stupendously beautiful plantation. I want to thank the team from Mount Kava for giving us the opportunity. Enjoy the video. Oh, and you got to hang in there till the very end. There's some really stunning footage at the top of the mount. See you later.
Feeling mellow, mellow, feeling so sentimental. I'm crying on instrumentals, emotions are roller coaster from coast to coast to the ocean. I'm floating, soaking my mental state in the ocean. Sunshine, beach day, nah dog, it's COVID, don't be stupid. Spent so many nights in my mind, remain clueless. I think there might be holes, my head keeps feeling screwless. Always feeling like I'ma fall right through the.
Hey folks, Cam from Australia Kava Shop. Day 3 or 4, I can't remember. It's starting to blur a little bit, but Port Vila in the background. We're on Clems Hill. We're heading up to one of our main suppliers, Mount Kava, who are sort of breaking the mold a little bit in growing kava and lots of kava on a whare and processing it. Can't wait to show you. It's a really good spot. In the meantime, come visit Port Vila sometime on your next holiday.
Walking like jello, jello. Yeah, I'm feeling mellow, mellow. It's Khalifa, black and yellow. Shout out the homies from India. They say cello, cello. Let's go somewhere today. Maybe let's go to outer space. Inhale some outer space and leave without a trace. Peep the memo. One love every time when we walk in the street. That's the kind of teaching every single teacher should teach. Cause even some Sundays, all the preachers will preach about what kind of clothes young women should wear and how to clean. I mean, you seem so insecure in those jeans. Why is it so hard for you to clap when women succeed? You keep on following the politicians' mythical schemes. If getting money was your goal, then you'll never be free. No mellow, mellow. No mellow, mellow. Now you'll never feel mellow, mellow. Why? Cause your pride make you shallow, shallow. Make you shallow, shallow. Feeling mellow, mellow. Feeling so sentimental. I'm crying on instrumentals. Emotions are roller coaster from coast to coast to the ocean. I'm floating, soaking my mental state in the ocean. Sunshine, beach day, nah dog, it's cool.
Hey folks, Cam from Australia Kava Shop. So we made it up the hill at Clems Hill that you just saw. Came up the driveway and we're in Mount Kava, the back of Port Vila town or the back of Melo on a whare with the principal, John Nauper, on his property. And we're going to have a bit of a chat about kava, mate.
Too easy. Good topic.
Yeah, something we both know a little bit about, you know. Yeah. So John, you got into kava when roughly?
Actually back at the beginning of the century. I saw that there was room for export to Australia, and so in the year 2001 I started exporting powdered kava to Sydney first, a fellow called Praim Chand out the back of Sydney at Liverpool, and then I noticed that there was an opportunity to perhaps insert kava into the Aboriginal communities in the Northern Territory, and so we worked with the TGA, the Therapeutic Goods Authority in Canberra, to try and get kava into the Northern Territory, and it was a tricky thing. Ended up with the Northern Territory Kava Act.
Yeah.
But basically, we tried to use kava to curb a number of social issues that were prevalent up there.
And then the big block happened in 2007, right?
Yes. I think a few crazy things happened up north in the Northern Territory, but then after that, we had the Germans come in and sort of set up a stigma that we're still trying to combat this to this day and age. Yeah. Sadly trying to combat. But and then I sort of pulled back and concentrated on growing stuff and sandalwood, but now I'm growing kava and sandalwood together.
Back in. Look, I think it's worth speaking to that in relation to the ban in Australia and the EU bans that happened, in that there was a lot there. Well, there is still a lot of misinformation around what happened there. But it's really interesting that Vanuatu has been the leader in pushing, I guess, testing protocols to make sure that doesn't happen again, which is part of what you're doing in the back. Do you want to speak to that?
Yeah. I mean, for us, for me especially, I've seen the standards within the kava industry take on a bit of importance now. There used to be a day when it was just called kava. Now we've got different varieties, we've got different parts of the plant. I feel that the business is moving towards a lactone-based content. along with mandatory certification in areas such as microbial certification, moisture. You want to make sure there's no chlorophyll in it. You want to make sure that there's no, what kind of aggregate you've got going. But basically to work towards Geneva Food Code standards and to give respect back to the end user, who in this case is a lot of our family and friends around the world now. It's not just a Pacific drink anymore.
Yeah, that's true. Very true. It's worth noting in the back, folks, for those Kava aficionados just behind us there, that whilst the Vanuatu Customs Quarantine, who oversee the exporting of Kava, they in-house test all export shipments to be sure that they're noble variety. John and Mount Kava's team, they also do it prior to that process. So they have an in-house testing protocol to be sure that the only stuff that they're processing is true noble drinking Kava. And I think you guys might be one of two in the country that do that.
Yeah. We're trying to sort of build on that. Traceability to us is really important. We've got a long plan to work towards B Corp certification. Here, I believe we're one of maybe, if not the only planter, processor and exporter on the same piece of land, same piece of dirt. And so I'm looking at organic certification now, which is something that I don't think has been achieved before. We're naturally organic in Vanuatu, but really you're not organic until you've got a certificate.
Yeah.
So we're trying to blend in our standard operating procedures for say our CGMP or HACCP protocols that we're putting in place with our organic certification protocols, and to put them under one big set of operating procedures. So it's just exciting times because we've got a very basic testing system up the back here, but we want to move on. Hopefully get an HPTLC, start working on get a moisture oven, get a microbial culturing a culturing oven, the whole works, and that's going to involve bringing people in from overseas to help us with our technical aspect of this business. Yeah.
Now, as you probably noticed, we're surrounded by Kava here. Give us a rundown on what we're looking at here, John.
Yeah, basically I've got an order right now that's destined for CO2 extraction. Mm-hmm. So we are getting together a container. This particular client is not used to what we're going to present, which is basically bags from a certain area. He'll be able to trace back and find out certain, each batch of 500 kgs in the container has got its own COA.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we're just trying to up the game, give respect back to the external market.
Yeah.
Because for so long the market here in Vanuatu has been higgledy-piggledy. No one's really taken the time. It costs more money and it eats away your overheads, but in the long run, you've got the longevity of business, you've got the respect from an overseas client, and it's natural for business anyway. It's honest business.
Yeah. Well, look, we could be sitting here chatting for ages. I can't wait to show you. I've seen it, but for the people watching, to have a quick look around the property so you get to see the 2 or 3 different cultivars, or 4 different cultivars that you've got growing. And just so you can get understanding, folks, that when you're buying your Kava, whether it's from us or anyone who's purchasing certified noble Kava, there's a lineage of how things have to happen to be sure that you're drinking safe and good Kava, right? It's not, not unfortunately, but the Australian Phase 2 system allows any Kava to be imported. It's the guys within, no, I'm not saying we're just us, but if the vendors that have integrity are the ones that source out people like Mount Kava who are doing the right thing.
Anyway, if I could jump in just on that, I'd love to see Australia pick its game up. We need to reduce Kava that's being allowed to be carried on board, because you've got no idea what it is. Could be anything, and all it does is maybe give someone a bad experience. It hurts the Kava reputation. These are people that may not have many scruples, and it'd be nice to sort of streamline everything so that our Border Control and the Australian Border Control are singing off the same song sheet.
Yeah, look, as we know, it's being reviewed pretty much as we speak right now. Hopefully there's a bit more of alignment with that. That'd be awesome. But mate, look, let's go have a look around the place. You guys are going to love this.
Yeah, I'm feeling Melo Melo, sunflower yellow. Your baby mama texted me the other day like hello. She said her man's been cheating on her like a nasty fellow. I told her, well, now you know, never to trust a motherfucker throwing stones at your window, whispering lies while you were picking up the tempo. He's tapping that ass cause only pussy's on his mental. Must have come fast cause now he's creeping on his tippy toes. In the night he goes, feeling Melo Melo. He's feeling Melo Melo. He's feeling Melo Melo. Legs walking like Jello Jello. Yeah, I'm feeling Melo Melo. It's Khalifa, black and yellow. Shout out the homies from India. They say cello cello. Let's go somewhere today. Maybe let's go to outer space. Inhale some outer space and leave without a trace. Peep the memo. One love every time.
So, John, give us a rundown on this. This is a red hand Barogu, red Barogu?
Yeah, it's a red Barogu. It's a very powerful kava. This is what you drink to put yourself out real quick. The problem with it here on Efade is that it doesn't really take that well.
Okay.
It's probably more suited to Pentecost, the warmer, more loamier soils. It takes on weight very slowly, so not many people plant it anymore. They want the bulk.
Right.
They want to get the weight out rather than, so like something like this or Melo Melo. Melo Melo is probably my favourite kava, but it takes forever to grow.
Yeah, it's a small
Correct.
structure.
Gnarly little roots, not a big, buxom plant like Barogu Temit, or Barlas from Southwest Bay, what they call morning fresh,
Yeah.
And it's
So
just
not as much value for the commercial and smallholders
correct,
to grow. Yeah.
correct. Because
But,
we're looking
but an awesome cover. But
exactly.
yeah.
This is one for the private reserve.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's not for general consumption because the return per hectare per annum is really low.
Yeah.
Whereas
Okay.
if you're planting the A game cavas, well then you've got lots of money in the bank, but you don't really have the kick that you really want.
Yeah.
I mean, you can of course manufacture it out by putting less water in with the kava, but
It's the old, I hate using the alcohol analogy, but the Johnny Walker red to Johnny Walker blue
correct.
type thing, right? Yeah.
Correct. Like El Nino style planting, which means that we want more than 60% shade on the kava plant throughout the day. So this is actually probably 70% shade throughout the day. Because you only got a little bit up here. You know what I mean? So we've got the two different seasons, the La Nina and El Nino. La Nina is just like out in the open, kava goes great, there's a lot of water, but El Nino there's not much, and it just takes 3 weeks of no water and the kava plant starts to capsize.
It's off for a bit. Yeah.
So
Tell us about-
3 weeks is not long.
Tell us about this bad boy. What
Okay,
do we got here?
this is Nicalpia. So this is from Tanner,
Okay.
and she won't grow past 4 years. In fact, some of them, on average, probably 2.5 to 3 years, and then they start to lose their leaf naturally. They're the juiciest of all kavas, so they have superior water content to biomass.
Right.
So it's roughly a third of biomass, 2/3 moisture.
So great for green juice.
Great for the local juice market.
Yeah.
This is the future of kava, and this kava grows well here at this altitude and on this island. It may not necessarily grow on other islands.
Can I pick your brains on that just super quick?
Yeah.
Because I was talking to Nathan and Les on the way out here, in that when I first got into kava back in 2007, 2006, the general consensus was that Efade, which is your main island.
You go to Rangirango, Arku's planting it there. There are commercial farms cropping up here on Port Vila.
Great.
So there are commercial farms now that are basically the rage in Santo, and so like we as a local commercial farm want to work with the government to set policy, for example, that prevents us from exporting kava unless we have 50% from our small stakeholders, because we still want to keep them in the business. We still want to give them a livelihood, because if we commercial farmers get together, we can control the roost.
Yeah,
And
then the
what's
smallholders don't get a look in.
Correct.
Yeah,
then what
okay.
happens then? I mean, no one's going to be happy.
Yeah.
So we were trying to sort of not only run a commercial business, but look also at our responsibilities to the community and the government. Things don't just happen here. There's no capital gains. There's no tax.
Yeah.
So we've got to
Build a
cut the cake
framework that's
properly.
fair for everyone. Yeah. Awesome.
I'm feeling Melo Melo, it's Khalifa, black and yellow. Shout out the homies from India, they say cello cello. Let's go somewhere today, maybe let's go to outer space and help some
Okay, folks, so we're at the top of the property of Mount Kava, of John's property. We've got this giant banyan tree here, and some of John's main workers live up the top of the hill. I'm sure the camera won't give it any justice, but this is just stunning. We're right on the top of the hill, it's nice and fresh breeze, beautiful gardens, cool looking Muttley, good dog. The girls are playing some lap, and looks like they're probably going to buck it down because there's a bit of rain coming in. But Vanuatu, man, what it's all about.
Melo feeling so sentimental, I'm crying on instrumentals. Emotions are roller coaster from coast to coast to the ocean. I'm floating, soaking my mental state in the ocean. Sunshine, beach day, nah dog, it's COVID, don't be stupid.
Alright, so this is the entrance to Mount Kava. You would have seen it as we drove in. It's a really pretty entrance with a really nice garden.
And those with a keen eye of Kava who've been around the traps a bit would recognise that.
Casa,
They call it Casso in
or
Fiji.
first ring in Vanuatu.
Yeah. They're above the first note, right?
Yep.
Yeah, so
Well, and the first note too.
first note as well.
Yeah.
So basically as they rip up the Kava plant and prepare it for cleaning, the stuff that is above the root and above the ground, that's the stuff you don't want to be drinking. Makes great compost.
Yeah, it's good compost, and it basically gives a message to any farmers coming directly to here, to our farm gate, to our factory gate, that we don't accept rubbish. And people sometimes separate the casa or the first note from the rest of it, and they'll pay a little bit of money, or they won't pay any, or they won't pay for it. But we're showing the farmer we don't even want it. And because a lot of people will say they won't pay for this, but they'll use it in their product, whereas we don't want it, full stop. And to prove that we don't want it, we stick it in amongst our flowers. And there's carbolactones in that, but there's also chlorophyll. There's also other stuff that doesn't really make for a nice shell of kava. So to prove to our farmers that we're not ripping them off, and that we're basing our product on quality, that's what we do with it. Right here, Lester.
These are what they call the lateral roots of the stump. So you have your big bulbous root, and then these stick out the side. In Fiji, they call them waka. It's a very high in specific lactones, and they're the ones that make the sleep really good. Some people love them on their own. Some people prefer the big bulbous one, which is more of a euphoric effect. So yeah, check that beast.
I'm feeling Melo Melo, it's Khalifa, black and yellow. Shout out the homies from India, they say cello, cello. Let's go somewhere today.
Well, look, thanks for watching all the way through. Look, it was at that stage where the rain just came bucketing down, as is that time of year in Port Vila. We couldn't film anything or record anything because of the noise of the rain, so we did what any sensible human would do and sat down and had a few shells of Mount Kava's Melo Melo. Look, again, thanks for watching. If you've got any questions about our Kava or Mount Kava's Kava, or look, Kava in general, give us a buzz. See you later.
You never be free, no Melo Melo. No Melo Melo.